following intuition and thinking twice. Sometimes things I hear first seem strange, weird, and then by rethinking it's actually good. What's true, intuition or thinking? Means the mind. So anytime I'm asking a question like that, like, is this intuition or thinking? Normally that's me overthinking. That's a sign that I'm overthinking. Right, and intuition, or if there's a different word you want to use for that, we all experience it in different ways. And I don't believe it's like there's select few that have intuition and everyone else doesn't. From my experience of working with people, it's just that some people are more in their heads than others. And when you're in your head, one of my teachers, Tony Robbins, used to say, if you're in your head, you're dead. And I kind of tend to agree with that. If we're in our heads, we're disconnected from our bodies, we're disconnected from our hearts. I had a coffee with a buddy of mine yesterday that I haven't seen for some years, and he said, he's been working with some, elders and all that, and he said, one of the elders told him the hardest journey that we will all have in our lives is the journey from our head to our hearts. And I loved that when he said it. I was like, wow, yeah, that's really true and profound. If you're sitting there thinking about intuition, then you're thinking. Or we receive information in different ways. For some of us, it's in a form of feeling. For others, it's, you might hear it. For others, you might be more visual and you see it. For others, there's a kind of a knowing. It's a bit more digital. It's like ones and zeros, yes and no, right? And for others, it might be a combination. And I didn't consider myself, I was probably the least, right? Like, I just thought I was the opposite end of the scale. I would never be someone who's like intuitive or any of that. So years ago, I just kind of shun all this stuff away, and I'm like, there's no way, what intuition, what are you talking about? But what I didn't realize was that in where it came through for me was when I was facilitating groups. And at the time it was the yoga trainings when I was doing transformation work, mostly when we were doing the check-in sessions and I'm doing like interventions. And it was even before I learned the healing work. Healing was already happening. And it was like in those moments I was completely present with the person that is sharing, obviously in the group setting, which you guys have experienced if you've come to the check-ins. And over time, it's like I have no idea what that person is going to say next. I don't know what question they're going to ask. I don't know what they're going to say. I don't know what reaction they're going to have. It is completely unscripted, right, as you guys have experienced. So I don't know what the next moment is going to present. And sitting in that not knowing, right, requires me to be present. And being present means while there's thoughts happening, it seems far away in my mind. Therefore, there is, a clarity, you could say, like you could say a silence, because I'm completely present with that person in that moment, right? And therefore, when I thought back, I didn't realize it for some years until sometime I was like, oh, it's almost like a feeling that I get. And in that feeling is, this is the next question I'm to guide them with. And I didn't realize this was the process. This was what was happening. Because I really had nothing. Like I would just go in with nothing in the session. And which you could say is no thinking, right? But thinking is kind of somewhere there, it's happening. It's just like some background noise. It's like someone's got a radio playing in the room next door. So it's kind of there. This noise is kind of still happening. But I practice just being completely present with the person. So intuition, you could say, perhaps tends to open up more when we pay attention, when we get present, and we open to not knowing. Therefore, the information, you're open to receiving the information and it coming through you in the form of feeling, in the form of seeing, hearing, knowing, whatever, or a combination. And I believe that we all have it. It's just that most people are stuck in their heads. Therefore, it's like we're the walking dead, right? We're dead from head down. We're just trapped in our heads. And the head is great, right? Mind's very intelligent. But if that's our only gear, that's our only tool, then we're not tapping into the intelligence of our body, we're not tapping into the intelligence of our heart, we're not tapping into infinite intelligence, divine intelligence, which we are all connected to. And it's very easy to forget, right, that we are connected. So much so that we'll even convince ourselves that we are disconnected. But we are intrinsically, we cannot be separated from the divine, from this, infinite intelligence. It is a very vibration that creates us. So the thing that disconnects is our illusion, right? Our belief on some level that we are disconnected. And on some level it serves us, which is hard to hear, right? Like, what do you mean I'm choosing that? It's like, yeah, but on some level we're choosing that, if we get really honest, consciously or unconsciously. And it comes from making a choice to let go, to open, to pay attention. To let go of your agenda of how this moment should be, and to open completely to how it could be. How if there was a higher intelligence that is trying to reveal to you maybe a better, different way? What if life could be better than it is right now? Right? And that information is coming through the Wi-Fi, so to speak, of the universe. But we cannot receive that information through the Wi-Fi if we are busy in our heads. There is no room. The hard disk is full. The computer is just, like our computer is just maxed out. It cannot receive any more information. And we're stuck in just our computer. And that's how most people live. I believe that we all have intuitive abilities because we're a drop of the universe, every single one of us. No matter how checked out someone is, they can check in.